right, welcome back. You're watching Morning Cafe, and Monday Blitz has really woken us up here in studio, and we're glad that you're still with us. And right about now, we want to delve into pressing issues that affect our forests. Now, they continue to face unprecedented challenges, and to help us with this conversation is Amos Wemanya. I hope I'm not butchering your name. That is the Responsive Campaigns Lead at Greenpeace Africa. Welcome, Amos. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me.
Karibu sana. I want you to start us off with providing an overview of the current state of forests in the country.
Yeah, I think there has been a worrying trend on our forests. It started with an attempt to lift the ban on logging. You would remember that there was a ban that was put in place in 2018 to curb the problem of logging. And last year, there was an attempt by the government to halt that ban that was actually stopped by the court. So the thing is, this is just an indication that there has been an attack on Kenyan forests. This has also seen increasingly the government allocating forest land to what they are calling development projects, which in my sense is not development. If we are going to be destroying our ecosystems, our life support systems such as the forest, on which we depend for climate stabilization, on which communities depend for livelihoods, I don't think that's development. There is a problem with the current trends, and it is time that the communities, it's time that the people stood up and called out on this attempt, on this attack on Kenyan forests.
You see, we have a project, for instance, like the one right here in Karura Forest, where they want to clear some trees there, the forest, so that they can expand that Kiambu Road, yeah? So somebody will see this as a very good project if we're talking about it, but from where you sit, is it or is it not?
Yeah, the thing is, the Karura situation is not isolated. There is that attempt to hive off part of Karura for the expansion of Kiambu Road. There is attempts to hive off part of Swamp Forest to develop a border town, that's in Trans Nzoia. There has been attempts for construction of roads within the Aberdare ranges. So this is a common trend. And like I said, it started with the government attempting to lift the ban on logging. So what one would see is a clear attack on Kenyan forests. And this is being done under the guise of development. For me, we have a problem in this country. The problem we have is about land use planning. There is poor land use planning. We do not have a shortage of land for development projects. And this does not include us destroying our life support systems such as forests for us to be able to develop. If we are going to do that, then one, we are going to disadvantage the communities that depend on these forests for their livelihoods. Number two, we all know the greatest role, the big role that the forests play in stabilizing our climate, in providing us with all that we need, including oxygen that we breathe. So the forests are the lungs of the world. So if we are going to be destroying our own lungs, that means we are not progressing. What we are doing is we are just putting our lives at risk.
So what do you think continues to drive this destruction of forests despite the rules and regulations that are available?
Yeah, I find some of the government policies very inconsistent, because today you will hear that the government has plans to plant 15 billion trees by 2032 as a way of contributing to finding solutions to the climate challenges. Of course, I do not dispute we are faced with a crisis, the climate crisis. We are either shuttling between floods and droughts, and our communities are facing the greatest impacts of the climate challenge, and we need to find solutions. But the solution is not just about planting trees. It's about protecting ecosystems. It does not make sense for us to plant 15 billion trees when we are destroying our forests. We have seen another attempt by the government as a way of providing solutions for climate crisis, evicting communities from the lands that they have inhabited for decades, communities that have been stewards of these ecosystems. For example, the Mau forest. We have the Ogek community that has been stewards of Mau forest. Now, in attempt to create space for carbon offset projects, they are being evicted from their homes. This is actually maladdevelopment, because when you evict these communities from their homes, you make them more marginalized and more vulnerable to the climate crisis. And that does not provide the solution. And we have reports that have indicated that actually carbon offset projects do not help solve the climate crisis. They exacerbate the situation. They overstate the emissions that they cut. By evicting communities from their homes, actually, they do not help these communities build resilience to the climate crisis.
You mentioned about the 15 billion trees that the government aims to achieve by 2032. I know it's an ambitious plan, but do you see us reaching that goal?
The thing is, maybe the government wants to destroy all the forests so that they can plant 15 billion trees. But the thing is, we have seen the government set aside days where they have been rallying citizens and everyone to go out there and plant trees. And I found that contradictory to the fact that we can't be rallying citizens to go out there and plant trees when we are destroying forests. And I know we cannot plant a forest. We are destroying forests that have taken many years for them to establish. And then we want to plant trees in an overnight and expect that these trees are going to help us solve the climate challenge. I think that is hallucinating in a world that is quickly exiting safe space for us to deal with the climate crisis. So the government needs to come out with concrete plans, and this concrete plan does not involve destroying our forests. If we are going to help our communities build resilience to the climate crisis, we need to start investing in renewable energy, in resilient agricultural practices, such as being able to provide energy to farmers and continue to produce when the rain fails. For example, using irrigation systems. We do not have to drive communities out of their homes to create space for carbon offset projects in the name of us trying to find a solution to the climate crisis. That is hallucinating.
What do you suggest should be done instead of these evictions? Yeah,
my suggestion would be that, one, the government must have consistent policies. That today you are talking about planting trees, and tomorrow you are talking about hiving off tens of acres of land for supposed development projects. That's not consistency. What the government needs to do is to put in place policy measures that are consultative also. What we have seen is lack of consultation with the communities, with various expert groups. The government is taking decisions without consultation. And that is what is leading to a lot of contestations, even in courts. We have had situations where the court has stopped some of the government plans, including the expansion of Kiambu Road by hiving off some sections of Karura Forest.
Right.
So if the government was consultative and it engaged experts, then we are able to develop policies and plans that are responsive to our needs. And I've already mentioned policies and plans that support communities on the front line of the crisis, such as being able to help them have access to much needed solutions, such as renewable energy and farming practices that are going to help them to withstand droughts, for example, whenever they are presented with such climate impacts.
As Greenpeace Africa, now a champion for climate justice, have you maybe tried approaching the government with these policies or maybe suggestions that you have in order to continue protecting the environments in these indigenous communities? Have you tried that option?
Yeah, Greenpeace Africa has really been active in engaging various actors, not just the government, but other civil society organizations within the country and across the continent, communities, but also government agencies. We have developed various propositions to the government, including demands that we have shared. You will remember that sometime last week, we released a press statement that had demands for the government. Yeah. So Greenpeace Africa has really been active in engaging various actors to shape policies and plans that are responsive to the challenges that we are faced with, but also that provide solutions that are sustainable, solutions that are fit for purpose, and not these ad hoc solutions that are not very well thought through, that are going to put communities at further disadvantage.
You see, I'm taking a look at the press release that you released last week, and Amos, in that press release, you expressed deep concerns about the rapid destruction of forests in Kenya. You cited issues such as deforestation in areas like Mau Forest and illegal logging, and you're talking about trying to find sustainable solutions to this specific concerns. So what are the necessary maybe concerns or necessary let's say zile mambo ambazo mnataka zitatuliwe kabisa ni zipi?
Yeah, number one is the government to protect Kenyan forests. Like I've already said, we cannot plant a forest. So we can't be destroying forests that have taken decades for us to establish. Number two is to engage the communities that live in these forests. For example, engaging communities in the Mau forest on how to better protect the resources rather than coming up with abstract ideas that are going to make these communities even more vulnerable and are not likely to protect these resources. Number three is to come up with proper land use planning. What we are lacking right now as a country is proper land use plans. We are doing activities in areas that we shouldn't be doing. For example, we are having development of settlements and all those in areas that should not be. And that's why you see whenever there is a small weather event, we are facing disasters. We are having landslides that are claiming lives and destroying homes. So if we have a proper land use plan in place, then we are able to avoid these ad hoc plans that actually are disadvantaging ourselves, our economy, in the name of creating jobs. I don't think we are going to create jobs and progress if we are evicting communities from their land, if we are destroying ecosystems that we all of us depend on for our survival.
For these communities that are being evicted, like the Mau Forest, for instance, have they been given any other option?
The thing is, the question of options and all that is, why would you evict communities that are helping protect resources that have been stewards of these resources for a very long time, even without engaging them, because they are not engaged. They are just driven out of their homes forcefully to create space for carbon offset projects that are normally owned by foreign companies, that we are auctioning our own communities, we are auctioning our forests to foreign companies in the name of finding climate solutions. I find that very problematic because most of the times the communities are never consulted, and these solutions are not fit for purpose for our country, and these solutions do not actually present the solution. They are distractions to us finding real solutions to what is actually affecting us. So we cannot be driving communities out of their homes in the name of solutions.
You mentioned that as Greenpeace Africa, of course, you've interacted with stakeholders, you've interacted with government, but what is the response in regards to this? Yeah,
most of the time when we present our demands, the government promises to act on them. Like at COP29, which was happening in Azerbaijan last year, we presented our demands to the chair of the Africa Group of Negotiators, which is a Kenyan. And we presented to them our concerns around carbon markets as a climate solution. And we find that sometimes there is a lot of promising that does not accompany actions. And what we are appealing to the government is not too much talk without real action. We want consistency between the rhetoric and the actions that they are taking. And to cite an example of planting 15 billion trees is a good project, but that is not consistent with destroying the forest.
So as Greenpeace Africa, you've also called for use of land, sustainable land use planning, right?
Yes.
So how does this one look practically? If you could break it down for us.
Yeah, practically is we need to have areas that are forest areas. We need to have areas that we plan actively for agricultural activities. We need to plan for residential setup. Another mix, you find very productive lands for agriculture. People hiving them off into small plots for residential. And that really affects our agricultural productivity because you realize that prime areas that the country should be using to produce food for our own food independence, everyone now is putting up a house in such prime areas for agricultural activities. And then you find that now we are destroying forests to pave way for development projects that would go elsewhere because we haven't really planned as a system. We just do things ad hoc, that today this place is being converted into a settlement area when it should actually be a forest area, like what is happening with the swamp forest, where we want to develop a border town instead of this area being protected as a forest, then finding an alternative space where we can put up such a plan.
Now, with everything that is happening, do you think that the Kenyan law on forest protection is strong enough?
Actually, it was strong. There is a ban on logging, which is recommendable.
Yeah.
But there has been attempts to lift that ban so that this runaway and attacks on forest can go on. But the good thing is that we have strong courts, and the Court of Environment had to stop that attempt to lift the ban on logging. So as it is right now, that ban on logging provides us a safety net for protecting our forests. And I think the civil society in the country is also very active. We have seen a lot of civil society groups coming out and calling out government on these attempts on Kenyan forests. Some of the civil society groups moving to court and challenging these government plans to destroy our forests. So we have a vibrant civil society, and we have a safety net in the logging ban that is in place right now.
What specific changes would you advocate for in this point in time?
Inclusiveness. There is very little consultation, like I've said, transparency within the government operations. So if we have an inclusive and transparent process that involves everyone in finding solutions. Of course, there are challenges like the climate crisis challenges, but if we involve everyone in finding solutions, then we are able to find a solution that is fit for purpose, a solution that is going to help us really address the challenges that we are faced with, including being able to develop sustainably without destroying our systems as we develop. Yeah.
Now, you see, with our history now of hosting these international climate summits, do you think that this is in any way helping us now towards just protecting these forests? You see, what we're going through right now, the logging, what is happening in Karura, Mau. You mentioned also another place in your press statement. So do you think that with us hosting these international summits, we are getting somewhere in terms of forest protection?
You see, Kenya has presented itself to the world as a champion of the environment, as a champion of providing solutions to the climate crisis. And we indeed hosted the first Africa Climate Summit here in Nairobi, which was a good move in an attempt to find solutions to the challenges that we are faced with. But what we are calling for is seems to be a disconnect between these activities of hosting summits and the rhetoric on what we go out there and tell the world and what we are actually doing. So we cannot present ourselves as champions of the environment when we are destroying forests in our backyard. We cannot present ourselves to the world as champions of climate when we are actually evicting communities from the lands that they have inhabited for decades. Actually, we need to match this rhetoric with our actions in our backyard.
What do you think is the most challenging thing to addressing this, forest conservation, bringing it into communities and just putting it out there that we need to protect our forest collectively? Where's the challenge exactly?
Yeah, civil society movements before, led by the likes of the late Wangari Maathai, have done a great job in providing public awareness on the need to protect these ecosystems. So I know, and I think the information is out there. What is missing is the goodwill from government to support communities to be able to continue taking good care of these ecosystems. There is lack of goodwill from leadership. And that's why you would see a leadership that is attempting to lift a ban on logging. So political goodwill is lacking. And it would be better for us to have political support in protecting our ecosystems, because governments have a big role to play in enabling communities, but also in safeguarding the policies and the plans that are already in place. What we are seeing right now is a disconnect on what really is happening and what should be happening. Yeah.
That's a perfect way to close. Thank you so much. That is Amos Wemanya, the Responsive Campaigns Lead at Greenpeace Africa. Thank you so much, Amos, for coming in here and helping us with your expertise and insights on this particular topic on deforestation. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Reverend Wanjiru in studio with us. We're talking about Mizpah Foundation, where they help widows. We want to talk about the plans that they have had so far and the efforts that they have undertaken in ensuring that these widows are well taken care of. I'm being told it's Reverend Wanjiku. I'm very sorry for butchering that. So up next is that conversation.
Are you ready to elevate your business game?
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
Kama wewe ni mfanyabiashara, huwezi kaa bure, unajipanga taratibu vile inavyofaa.
Join us each week as we dive into the stories of the world's most driven entrepreneurs.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
The Grind, where business meets brilliance. Tune in every Monday at 7:30 p.m. because your business deserves the best.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. we dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwa watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
All right, welcome back. Today we have a packed conversations for you on this show. And right about now we are privileged to host, that is Reverend Wanjiku Gashungi. I don't want to butcher your name again, Reverend. So you're about the first time. Karibu sana to studio.
Yes.
And you know, just to start us off, Reverend, first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
Okay.
Yes.
Now
yes.
tell us about Mizpah Foundation. What is it about? What's the inspiration behind it? Tell us all about that.
Yeah, Mizpah Foundation, we have the Widows Projects here in Kenya, but it's at the Mizpah Ministries based in California. We started by, of course, preaching the gospel. But earlier on in my life, when my dad died when I was in high school, my mom was left as a widow at the age of, actually she was less than 40 years. So one of the things I realized, she was focused on the word of God in Isaiah 54, knowing that and believing when the husband dies, the Lord takes over as a wife. So through prayer, I saw that God was seeing her through and even bringing more people to help her raise her 12 children. So when I went to US, I felt the call to come back and give back to the widows, just like I saw my mom being helped by the community. Yeah.
That is so inspiring. So does it only focus on widows or widowers as well?
No, just widows, just widows. You know, everybody has a call, and I felt the grace of God leading me to just focus on the widows. They range from the ages of 40, some of them are very, very young, even up to 80 and 80-something. And most of the focus we do, the ones that are very, very, very needy. And mostly it's not just helping them, it's also educating them and putting them together as a community. Because one of the things, the widows are sidelined, and they feel like they are left out by the community and the family. So we put them together, they have fellowships, they pray together, especially once a month, minimum. Some of them, they meet twice a week. And after they meet, is there that they also realize some of them are very, very needy, they are homeless, and others, their children, they don't go to school, and that's why we come in.
I would love for you to clarify something. You mentioned that Mizpah is founded in California.
Yes.
Is that where you are based, or is there like something here in Kenya where these widows now come together to better themselves?
I'm based in California. That's where I live, actually, most of my time. But the foundation is based here in Kenya. We call it Mizpah Widows Projects in Kenya. But the ministry, Mizpah Ministries International, is the main thing. So the projects are under the ministry of Mizpah Ministries International.
When you're not here, who handles this hard work?
We don't, actually, we come here just to do the work. I come here twice a year in December. And we, of course, now it's January, and also June and July. So whenever we raise the money, we come and build houses for them, chicken coops and water tanks. And also, we also fellowship with them. Some of them, we also have students that are orphans, and others are with their mothers that they cannot afford. We pay school fees. Actually, we have 7 students in high school and 2 in college.
You know, sometimes widows face social, economic challenges that sometimes are insurmountable, you know. So what are these biggest challenges that you figured or you noticed and you say that I have to come in and fix these things for these women?
Yeah, most of the widows, the challenges they face is they are sidelined. And even especially by the in-laws. It's sorry to say that, and it's heartbreaking. And that's why we come in, and our base is not just to give them houses, it's to encourage them. But also the Bible says, because it's based on the Bible, I quote a lot of Bible in it, because that's our ministry is based on the word. The Bible says the true religion in the book of James 1:27 is to visit the widows and the orphans at their trouble. And when the challenges most of them face is they are either kicked out of their homes or even the farms, and others also, they were left by husband and they cannot take care of themselves. Some of them, they were depending on their husbands or income or even education. And that's why we come in. Don't forget also, we have some other elderly widows that are receiving also the money from the government. But that is not enough even to cater for what their needs are. Some are young, they don't qualify for that, and that's why we come in.
I'm looking at the numbers here. And looking back, did you ever imagine you would achieve what you have today? I'm talking about 257 houses built, 682 water tanks that you have installed, 135 chicken coops. You have established these ones. And you're paying school fees for students. How do you feel when you see these numbers?
It feels good. You know, everybody has a purpose in life. And I regret I would have started even earlier, because it is very fulfilling to see that we are giving hope to somebody. Some of these widows, we visit them, and you find they are praying that it doesn't rain. So giving them a house is a 3-room house, 2-bedroom and 1 living room. It's like taking them from the streets, actually, if I may say, to State House. To them is great achievement. And for us, it's a fulfillment to know life is not just about us. Life is about changing somebody's life and making it better. And that's all what we are focused doing. I know we could have done even better, but I appreciate those who have been supporting, and we have been able to build 257 houses. Actually, this season, I came in December, actually November, the end of November, we started building the houses, and we already completed December and January now, 26 houses. Most of them are in Nyeri County. Nyeri County and Laikipia, but we already reached 7 counties so far with the water tanks, chicken coops, and also giving them houses. And we feel very good about it, that we are fulfilling what God called us to do.
You know, this is a lot of work, Reverend. And where do you get the funding from?
From individuals. It's we are trying to get other like churches and also the government to come in, but so far it's just individuals. People like you who understand, and if I tell them what we are doing, they say, okay, I'll be able to maybe buy a water tank. Some of them are built houses. I also have a home church I go to in California. They are very supportive. Chino, Cross Point in Chino, California, they are very supportive. And we also have been able to open other MISPA chapters in different states. We have a chapter in Seattle. We have a chapter in Texas and a chapter in Oregon, and of course California, where I live, which is, and they're very supportive. And most of the Kenyans there, they are also supporting a lot.
We're talking about girl power. Right? It's interesting to see. And you see behind these numbers are real lives that have been transformed, you know? So maybe these success stories that you've had before, maybe you can share them with us, where you see you've brought them together, they have their children. Now, let's talk about when their children are now successful and they leave. Do they live with their moms?
Yeah, most of the, like now, most of the young children, young families, they live with their moms.
Yeah.
But the others that have left. And to help a widow, somebody to be declared a widow that we help, we have to know that none of them can help them. They don't have children who can help them.
Yeah.
Some of these, they have children, but they don't have any income. So what we do the interviews, we check on them. Yeah, do you have children who went to school? Are they working? Yeah, some of them, we disqualify them. Others, actually, by the word go, you want to build a house like yesterday for them. Or you want to pay school fees for these children. Yeah, tell you a fact that one of these, when we got the results for the school, the students, two of them, one of them was in Sugar Boys. Yeah, he attained the B+.
Amazing.
So he is going to the university. You can feel that testimony. You want to do it again.
Yeah.
And he wants to be an engineer. You can imagine we have engineers of the county, engineers of the nation very soon because somebody gave, somebody saw it. I was thinking that boy would be in the village taking care of the goats. Because he was also admitted, at Chinga Boys when we saw him, but the mother did not have money. So we came in, I called my partners there, financial partner, and I asked them, I said, yeah, we cannot allow that boy not to go to school. So we're going to take him all the way to the university by the grace of God. The other one also obtained a C. Yeah. Unfortunately, that boy, he was one of our A students. But he fell sick for a whole year. He was in the hospital for 6 months. And he bounced back and got a C. We could be talking an A+ boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we still have to work with him and make sure he goes to college or take some also courses. And because whatever we started, we want to finish. Those are kind of testimonies. Testimonies of widows that they were laid on. You can imagine when we visit them and do interviews, they say, how does God answer prayers? Because others are praying, it doesn't rain. Others are praying, let it rain. Yeah. But for her, I say, God answers all prayers because we're going to build a house for you. So it is a real testimonies, daily testimonies of what God is doing through us and through others to change people's lives. Yeah.
So are these houses registered under their names?
No, they have farms, of course. Yeah. There's nothing like, of course, they have the title deed of the land.
Yes.
Well, those are some of the things we check because, unfortunately, there's one house we built and we didn't know that they had disputes. Do you know they had to bring it down. They had to bring it down. So now we are very, very careful as we do the interview to make sure that they qualify. Do you have a title deed? Is this land in your name? So we don't want to make mistakes. If there are disputes, we tell them until you solve the disputes, then you come back and build for you. So, but all those 257 houses, every widow knows the number of their home. So if I write them here, they will tell me, my number is number 1, my number is 25, my number is 200. So it's not like things that we just say on the air. The actual people. And in Nyeri now, actually, we have built 183 houses in Nyeri County. And the other county that has so many houses is Laikipia County. And it's catching up with Nyeri because there are so many widows that are in need. We have built 63 houses in Laikipia County. And others have distributed Kirinyaga. We are building Nakulu. But things like Makueni, we could not build houses because of the termite.
Yeah.
So instead, we gave them water tanks. And also in Moya. But we are going on, but water tanks they also need, because can you imagine there are still widows going to the river to fetch waters. So I would ask also the government if it is possible to come in, maybe build water, boreholes or whatever they can help them with,
So how far are you stretching these services? I haven't heard you mention Kisii, the Nyanza region.
Yeah, our goal is to go to the 47 countries, but you know, you go slowly by slowly. Yes, Rome was not built in one day, so but that's our goal. And also the challenges also with the finances. If I get those millions there, but we go to Kisii, we'll go to the farthest counties, but slowly by slowly. But also we know that you have to start in Jerusalem. My Jerusalem is, I'm from Nyeri County.
Charity begins at home.
Then I'm expanding to other counties. We have gone also to Makueni, so we are doing. We are going,
You didn't tell us how many years MISPA has been in service.
Actually, MISPA is a ministry. We started in 1992. as a ministry, doing conferences in US and other and preaching in all over the world. Let me say that I've traveled in different countries. But recently, I'm focusing right now on the widows. We have more than 4,000 widows now. I don't need even to have another congregation. I can preach to them every day if I want to. So now my focus is that. But we have been, for the projects we started in 2010, working on these projects. The first house we built in 2011, actually in Moiga. And that lady is very encouraging, because if you see that house, you'd think that we built it yesterday.
Yeah.
She needed it. She maintains it very well. And so this is very encouraging. It's life fulfilling to know that you are doing what God has called you to do. Everybody, when you get your line, when you get and know this is what I was called to do, there's the grace and that God gives, and you feel the joy of doing it. Yeah.
You see, you're paying school fees for 5 high school students and 2 college students.
Yes.
Why is education such a critical point for MISBA? You know, you're not talking about maybe, what is it called? You see, skills development, but education.
Yeah,
why is education so critical?
You know, I told you that my dad died when I was in high school. I was in Form 6.
Yeah.
If somebody did not come in to help us, the 12 of us, and pay education, I would not be here to help anybody else. So when you educate somebody, it's like you're educating the whole nation. Yeah. As we give back. Education it opens eyes, it opens your understanding. I would not be doing this without the education also. So it is very important, even the country and anybody else. If there is anyone to help for an education. The government, it is very heartbreaking, and I use that boy. His name is Duncan. When we visited that boy, and the mother was crying, that boy had passed. I think he had 400 points. And then he's not going to school. Yeah. Then you wonder, what will you be doing? What will that boy be? And that's education should be emphasized so much that everyone should never miss. No child should be left behind.
Of course, running such a big organization comes with challenges. So what are the challenges that you're facing?
The challenges, let me tell you now, because I have a lot of help. The challenges now is raising the money, and I don't want to feel like I'm going back.
Yeah.
I believe that we really need to do more. Yeah, and but can I say I'm in a position now? We're in a position now. People have started trusting. People have to trust you. Yeah. They have to see what you're doing. Then they come in. But we still need more help. Right now we have like 60 widows waiting for houses. But if I have that money, we just build them. We have a team already that is ready to work on that. So the challenges mostly is the finances.
Yeah. Yeah. So 15 years in, I hope I'm not getting that wrong, since 2010 up until 2025.
Yes.
How do you ensure that MISBA now, in terms of not the ministry, the foundation, is staying sustainable?
It will, because right now we have people who have bought the vision. If because I'm not working alone. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go further, have people going with you. And that's how I feel that God has brought people to partner with me. My work is just to come, and they are ready to finance it. And every day, actually, we're increasing. Every day there's somebody who is new, who is coming. Like now, I know there are people who will join us after they hear what we are doing. Yeah. And that's what happens. So if the word goes out there that there is need, there are people who are waiting to be shown where they can put their finances in a place that they can trust, and they can see somebody's life has been changed.
So what are you learning about leadership and service now that you're leading this? You have a ministry, you're leading this MISBA Foundation as well. What are you learning about this whole thing?
Yeah, learning about the leadership, actually, it is also good also to have the skills of leadership. That's what I did, as a manager. Because if you read, most of the things they fail because of lack of leadership, good leadership. If you lead people, people want to follow somebody who has a vision. And that's what I say every day, Lord, let me not detour. Because people come and follow somebody who has a vision, somebody who has a good leadership skills, and who is honest. And that's all what they want. And then we'll get more support.
So how do you involve communities in these projects to ensure that they're also united, as much as they are from different backgrounds, different communities? How do you ensure that they are one?
Here in Kenya?
Yes.
Yeah, as I said, the widows, they meet once a month for fellowship. And also their pastors are also involved. They go to different churches.
Yeah.
But the way we put them together, they fellowship, they pray together, and they see the needs. I encourage them. It's not just coming, because you need it. There are some widows who don't need houses. There are some widows who don't need money. They have inheritance from their husband. But that fellowship, that staying together, that unity, one who shares 1,000, two who put 10,000 to flight. And also, because we are based in the Word of God, we use Psalms 133, how good it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Because that's where God commands a blessing. Unity brings, whether people believe it or not, there is power in unity. When people work together, many people want to join a praise that where people are united, not fighting. And so I encourage them to stay as wives of Jehovah. Actually, that's how I teach them. When you come together, you are not alone. The Bible says now you are married to Jehovah. So you belong to one husband, you belong to one leader, you belong to one God. So they have no choice but to unite and stay together, and then others will join.
So how do you coordinate all these projects across these different regions? We are talking about these 257 houses, 682 water tanks, and 135 chicken coops.
Yes.
How do you coordinate them all together?
Right now we have chapters in different villages. What we do, we encourage the widows, the ones that have leadership skills, put the widows in your village together. We come and teach them. Then the word of goes, then another one starts. And that's how we do. Every village has a reader. We have share readers, we have secretaries. We don't need treasurers because there is no money that we collect. So we just need somebody to keep the record. Then we also have 3 people on the ground. We have the boy, my brother. My brother is the one who coordinates. Then we have the national coordinator. Her name is Jane Waigwa. Then we have the one who teaches them. Her name is Hannah. So they do the work when I'm away, and when I come back, I just do follow-ups.
Amazing. You've done so much for these 15 years for these women. Anything you're looking forward to for 2025?
2025, our goal, because the whole of 2024, we build 51 houses. So our goal this year, that we can reach to 100, 100 of them. And also extend ourselves to 2 more counties. We don't want to extend too much. If we can go to 2 more counties and build more houses and teach more widows and reach more orphans and make sure that everyone is in school, then God is taking care of them, that's our goal.
Now for anyone who is watching right now and he or she wants to get involved with MISPA Foundation, how do they get to it?
We have a website. It's www.themispaministries.org. Also, they can also write us in the email, which is mispawidows@gmail.com.
That is for anyone who wants to donate.
You want to donate or communicate with us, especially donating, that will be good. We need all the money. We need every penny that we can go forward. Yes.
How about those widows who, let's say they don't even have social media? They don't even know, they're not listening to us today, but you see, maybe somebody is watching and would want to reach them. How can they go through these interviews that you're saying you conduct? And maybe just get them on board as well to enjoy what you're offering as well.
Somebody who is watching, then I know they can also access us on the website. If they can write the email, then we can give them more information of how they can reach people on the ground. Because I don't want to give the phone number there for individuals, otherwise they will be bombarded with that. But they can come through us through the email. Then, of course, we'll reach them, we'll call and organize some meetings with the widows on the ground. We go teach them. First of all, one of the things I don't want the widows to think that we are coming to build houses. Because that is not the foundation of it. The foundation is to put them together, teach them that they have a community they can rely on. Then among them, the ones that are needed, then we take care of them. If they need houses, they need water tanks, they need chicken coops. If they have orphans, they have children that need to go to school, then we take over from there.
How has this initiative changed you personally as Reverend Wanjiku?
Oh my goodness. Every day I woke up with that hope. And one of the things that God will keep you, and even you have hope, is what am I here for? Because right now I'm not working for myself. If I just stay in California, I'll be fine. But what keeps me is that I know every day there's a life change.
Yeah.
Every day there's somebody who is thinking and, glorifying God because of us, that their life have been changed. Their school fees is paid, they have a roof, the roof is not leaking, they are not going through that pain, and they are not borrowing. They're in business with the chicken coops. Can you imagine some of those widows? They would go even to the neighbors to borrow a cup of maybe sugar or something. Now they are not borrowing. Actually, the Bible says we are not supposed to be borrowers. We are supposed to lend. So it is very encouraging to know we are changing somebody's life. And they feel they have a life to live now. They have hope. You give them hope. Yeah.
Somebody might be interested to know. You see, you're pouring so much into this foundation. You say now they're getting money, they're getting something from these chicken coops that they're having. But do you get something from it in terms of maybe money, let's say, profit back, or it's just you lend?
No, for me, no. But of course, it is because it's a ministry, or things like the expenses when I'm on the ground. Of course, the gas, the petrol that I use. Yeah, that's all. It's not. I'm not paid. Even people do think that I'm paid. We are not paid. Even the people on the ground, they are not paid. But of course, one of the things I know, and that's one of the revelation that the Lord gave me, if the water pipe that takes the water to somewhere, that pipe, if you put your finger in it, it's never dry. Working for the Lord and doing the thing, God will use other ways to bless you. Yeah, not what we are getting for the widows or anything else.
Yeah.
If I say that, my life is never dry. It never. Because I am that channel that the Lord uses, to be a blessing. The Lord will not, every work is not in vain. The Lord knows how to pay back well. Yeah.
Reverend, any word for our viewers as we close?
Yes, let's do the work of God. Let's go visit the needs, the people who are needy. Yeah, you are blessed to be a blessing. Like if you have a big home, how many rooms can you live in? How many cars can you drive at the same time? Anything that you have extra, not even extra, let's sacrifice and give to the poor. Psalms 41 says, blessed is the man or the woman who considers the poor. When they call the Lord hears them. God has called us also to be a blessing, not just to have and just be fat in everything, but also to be a channel, on an outlet where others can be blessed. So I encourage people to get involved and join us. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to start your own foundation. Just come and join us. It's already going on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Reverend Wanjiku, for making time for us here on Morning Cafe. We do enjoy your time.
My pleasure.
All right, there you have it. You can join MISPA, of course. Yes. You go partner and help these incredible women, the widows who are there, doing amazing stuff. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Anne Odide. That brings us to the end of Morning Cafe this morning. Stay positive, stay active, and Fred and I will see you bright and early tomorrow. Good morning.